And on this Sunday night, after a travel day last night, all four teams will be in play tonight. And our game one of the night will be the 7th seed Brooklyn Nets up 2-1 in this series in the Barclays Center, trying to end this series. They couldn't win in game three, so the 76ers avoided the sweep there. We'll see if the 76ers can tie up the series and send it back to Philadelphia for game five. Big game, what was the key in game three for the 76ers to survive the series? And if you're the Brooklyn Nets, big game, how are you ending this series in game four so you avoid a game five in Philadelphia? And we saw a huge game out of the other guys in the starting lineup in game three for the 76ers, as Al Horford seemed to have his first appearance almost in the playoffs. So he had a great game three, as well as Josh Richardson and Tobias Harris. We'll see if Joel Embiid and Simmons can have a similar game three as well. Here comes a Kyrie Irving three, can't hit. And big game, what's been the key for Josh Richardson to really step up in the past three games in this series? And here comes Richardson down the lane, but he's going to get a foul on DeAndre Jordan. He'll go to the line for two. Good start out of Richardson. And big game, the 76ers had a really great game from the three-point line in game three. How is Kenny Atkinson going to tell his team to change up defensively to avoid that in a game four?
Well, you'd think that they played pretty good defensively anyway in Game Three. Philly just, they have those players like we talked about before, Al Horford, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris. Really, they all had pretty good games, shot the ball very well, which pretty unusual so far for the 76ers to have three of those guys that aren't normally big scorers put up those kind of numbers. As Harris drives there and scores. So they just have to hope that some of those guys miss a few more shots, and if they can continue to contain Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and not have them have any monster games, that they should be in pretty good shape.
Oh, now Horford's going to pick up a foul here. Jared Allen almost makes the basket after the foul, but he's going to go to the line for two.
Jared Allen's been aggressive here in Game 4 so far.
Whoa, and Ben Simmons just
Well,
dribbles
oh,
out of bounds. Those are the
man,
mistakes you can't
very,
have.
very poor turnover there by Ben Simmons.
And big game, have we been surprised by Ben Simmons really isn't taking advantage of Kyrie Irving as much as we expected in the series. He really abused Kemba Walker in the Celtics series, but it hasn't been the same situation here in the Nets series.
Well, and I think part of that is due to the fact that Boston didn't really have the big men down low to help protect the paint like the Brooklyn Nets do. Ben Simmons, if he does get past Kyrie Irving, then has to go into the twin towers of Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan, which a lot tougher finish than it would have been on Daniel Tice or somebody like Jaylen Brown or um, Jason Tatum down low.
And Richardson's going to hit it off the fast break. It's now 9-6 so far in a even showing between these two teams. Here comes Kyrie, another three, or his fourth three taken in the game.
Yeah, Kyrie come out aggressive here so far. Now 1 for 5 in the game, but he's taken four or three threes though. So maybe a foot was on the line on one of those threes because I thought as well as you there, Big Jake, that that was his fourth three. So
Yeah, and that just shows we saw on those three threes he apparently took. Most of them are pretty deep, showing that he's not messing around in this game, and he'll take whatever open shots the 76ers defense is going to give him.
surprised they don't go to Joel Embiid here, who has Karis LeVert on him.
Oh, and it looks like Tobias Harris is. Oh, he gets lucky there, and he's going to get fouled. Looked like the 76ers are going to have to take a tough mid range. And another great performer in game three out of the 76ers was Alec Burks, but he misses a mid range here. He really stood strong off the 76ers bench in the fast break specifically. Oh, and Embiid, good defense on Kyrie in the fast break. And here come the 76ers. Tough
Oh, Glenn
shot.
Robinson that
Embiid
time.
is there.
And Embiid that time had Kyrie on his back, so another mismatch there for Embiid, but that time able to get the offensive rebound and finish that with the smaller guard on him.
Kyrie hits a mid range there off the pick and roll with Claxton. Big game. If there's one thing that you could say is Kyrie's best attribute of his game, what do you think that would be?
Well, obviously his ball handling is one of the top three in the league right now, and definitely top five of all time with how crafty he is. So that's and obviously he's just a great scorer, and he's known to have a clutch gene. We saw that when he was with the Cavs, and they won that finals. He hit that big three over Steph Curry in Game 7 to give the Cavs the win in that game in that series. As Kyrie pulls up for three now and drains it. Kyrie's now his last two buckets.
So far in this game, it's been pretty back and forth. Oh, Burks for three, can't hit. And the quarter's going to end with the Nets leading by three, 13-10 in the Barclays Center here in Game 4. We are back here at Game 4 in the Barclays Center. So far, it's been very even between these two teams. Kyrie Irving had another great first quarter performance. Despite the volume shooting, he's the reason the Nets have the lead right now. And we'll see him come out for the second quarter again, big game. They've been playing him heavy minutes, but then they'll bench him towards the end of the fourth quarter, which is a weird strategy, don't you think?
Yeah, it has been. And there you saw Claxton got blocked, but their offensive rebound, they'll finish over Joel Embiid. But I do like this lineup for the Brooklyn Nets. You have Kyrie out there, who's a scorer, along with Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a great scorer off the bench. And then you have Torian Prince as a shot there is good by the 76ers. I believe that was Glenn Robinson, or was that
That
Alec
was Shake
Burks?
Milton.
Shake Milton,
Yeah.
but and Torian Prince, and then you have Claxton, who's played very well. So this lineup I do like for the Brooklyn Nets. Oh, Kyrie, another three here. And another offensive rebound, Claxton. And he finished again. And it's Joel Embiid has allowed back-to-back offensive rebounds here by Claxton.
And that just can't happen if you're Joel Embiid. This is the one time the Nets are bringing out a lineup with one center out there. This is his chance to take advantage, and now he does on the offensive glass. And it's now 17-14.
Oh, Kyrie, another three.
And we're starting to see some Russell Westbrook type shooting out of him right now. He is relentless. He's 3 for 10 right now after missing his first 2 shots of the quarter. We'll see if he can improve on his shooting percentage. And the 76ers at this point are kind of thanking Kyrie for a lot of those threes, as those deep rebounds are allowing them to move in the fast break off outlet passes on rebounds. So it's been a pretty easy offense so far for the 76ers despite being down by 1.
I see Joel Embiid now has 5 rebounds in the second quarter alone. He grabbed another board there off the Spencer Dinwiddie miss.
Alec Burks for 3, can't hit. Oh, Spencer, whoa, deep 3. Really don't know what Spencer Dinwiddie's doing there. Joel Embiid maybe looking for a 1v1. No, he's going to pass it back to Milton. Oh, Shake Milton gets through the defense. He'll spin in, and they have the lead. Big game, we look at that shooting percentage right now. 37% for the Nets, but 10 of those 19 shots out of Kyrie. Is that what you continue to expect in the second half out of the Nets as well?
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot more of that. And Dinwiddie, they're aggressive, gets fouled.
We'll see if the 76ers can get some ball movement going, but we'll see a pick and roll with Thibault and Al Horford. Thibault can't hit.
And this will be an interesting group for Philadelphia. You saw in that first series against Boston with this group with no Embiid out there, you saw Ben Simmons really take a lot of the shots and Harris with a deep 2 there. Oh, and he sinks it. And with this group now, Ben Simmons hasn't been shooting much, but you have Richardson out there, Tobias Harris, and Thibault. So you wonder who the scoring output is really going to come from in this group.
Well, I don't know that we've seen Simmons score in this game, but that's a good pass of Simmons to Richardson. I think this is a really important group, as you said, where Simmons is leading the bench and some of the starters as well, and Harris, Richardson, and Al Horford, but they need to take a lead into half with this group compared to the Nets lineup that's in. Big game, if you're someone like Tobias Harris, how do you handle a matchup having Claxton or Jared Allen guarding you, or you guarding them as well?
Well, obviously on the defensive end, Tobias Harris has to just play. Oh, as Joe Harris drives.
What a finish.
What a finish by Joe Harris. Joe Harris looks like he might have gone up to slam that one home, but instead with a nice layup there and gets fouled. Obviously with Tobias Harris, he's going to have to play a lot bigger on defense with Claxton. He has to play very good post-up defense, obviously not known for that. On the offensive end, you'd like to see him, take it out on the perimeter and then try and blow by one of the big men. And that would be his way of scoring.
Simmons gets blocked on his first shot of the game. Claxton has had a great game so far.
A nice rebound by Joe Harris there, who drives in again, and another pull-up.
It's been interesting to see
Joe
Joe Harris. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with two pull-ups. Oh, and Simmons there with his first bucket of the game, throws it down. Yeah, Joe Harris, you've seen that the last two out of the last three possessions. He's had a chance to drive in layup, but has pulled up at the free throw line and missed them both. And then that one time he did drive in, he got fouled and finished for an and one.
And I think this is the most we've seen out of Joe Harris offensively in both the Nets series. Maybe Kenny Atkinson's trying to get his shooting guard going in this game. Oh, nice lefty floater by Ben Simmons, and now he's hit the 76ers past two shots. Under 30 seconds here at the Barclays Center. See who's leading going into halftime. LeVert driving in. No, he almost loses the handle. Gets blocked.
And it goes off of him. Yes, it does. It does. It goes off of him. And Philadelphia will now have 11.3 seconds left before halftime to try and extend their lead here.
Simmons cannot get around Kyrie, but goes to the post, blocked by Jordan.
Oh, what a block.
We'll see who gets a final shot for the 76ers. 1.8 seconds left. It goes to Milton.
Milton in the corner.
Not the worst shot there, but the 76ers will still lead going into the half. 25-24 in this pivotal game 4. We'll be back with the halftime show very soon. And the first quarter was a lot about Kyrie Irving's shooting. He couldn't convert much in the second quarter, but he's still having a decent volume shooting game. But Claxton's been the one showing up for the Nets off the bench. He has a block. He had a couple of good offensive rebounds, and he has 4 points. And both those finishes were off Joel Embiid. And like you said in the second quarter, Joel Embiid had 5 rebounds alone early in the second quarter. Anything else that stands out for you, big game?
Well, obviously you see how much better Philly's shooting than Brooklyn, but Brooklyn, in my opinion, with the offense rebound, and obviously Kyrie Irving's threes, keeping them in this ball game, and you see every other stat almost identical across the board, and really, it is a very close game. And if you're Philadelphia, shooting 44%, you'd like to be up more here.
We'll see if the 76ers can send this to Game 5 very shortly, heading into the second half. As we start back here at the Barclays Center, second half, 76ers lead 25-24. We didn't see Kyrie Irving much in the end of that second quarter, but we'll see if he can improve his shooting percentage so far. Big game, if you look at that stat once again, Josh Richardson showing up once again. And wow, Kyrie Irving, deep three. Richardson, though, 7 points, and he's had at least 10 points in almost every game in the series.
Yeah, Josh Richardson obviously has been the one consistent scorer now. As he puts up another three, you can't finish that one. Consistent scorer here for Philadelphia, really, in the series. And Kyrie Irving, another three here by Irving, and he hits another three. And Kyrie, as we talked about, heating up now, helping out that shooting percentage. And a lot of his three balls and jumpers starting to go down now. Not a good sign for the Philadelphia 76ers.
And that wasn't bad defense on the second three, but you just can't do much when Kyrie Irving is going to start dominating like that. Oh, a three by Al Horford can't hit, and the Nets are starting to gain some momentum out of the half. And Harris
aggressive there. Fouled again. Very aggressive Joe Harris so far here in this Game 4.
And that's exactly what the Nets need. If they want to end the series in Game 4, it's going to be necessary for someone other than what's turned out to be a big three at this point between Kyrie Irving and the two bigs. They know they're going to get 3-point shots out of LeVert and a few drives. Spencer Dinwiddie's going to step up, but this is what you can't have. The 76ers defense really took advantage of the Nets' poor defense in Game 3, and it was three-pointers that led the charge. So if they're going to make sure the 76ers don't come back after they get out to this good run, it's going to be their defense on threes.
Oh, Irving, double team there.
Oh,
Oh, LeVert fouled. A nice pump fake there by LeVert with 1.2 left on the shot clock, and got Josh Richardson to jump up and foul him.
just when you thought the 76ers defense was starting to look very good on that possession, you make a foolish move like that, and it allows LeVert to get 2 easy points on the line. Lead is back up to 6. And Embiid is going to dribble up the ball. And there goes Harris. Nice pick and roll between Embiid and Harris. Oh, Kyrie, another
fadeaway
three. That's Kyrie's first miss in this third quarter. Oh, and look at the mismatch. Embiid should... Oh, he passes it away. Big game. Have you been surprised by the passive offensive end for Joel Embiid so far?
I am. And now a lob to DeAndre Jordan. I am very surprised. You would think Joel Embiid, definitely the better big man, obviously, star-wise than Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan. But in this series, Joel Embiid has not played well, and it's really shown up.
Well, and the 76ers are going to call a timeout after that big alley-oop by DeAndre Jordan. It seems that the Nets have just gained such a unique connection with their bigs. Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan seem to have an alley-oop, each of them, every game. They're going to take advantage of Musa here. Tobias Harris fade away. Can't hit.
Oh, great pass there by Kyrie to Taurean Prince, who can't finish the layup.
The 76ers offensive struggles starting to be too much here. As the Nets could extend it to 8, they can't. Oh, Richardson wanted to get the shot up there, but he can't. There'll be another foul on DeAndre Jordan. Big game in this lineup right now for the 76ers. Is Tobias Harris most likely the focal point of the offense?
You'd think that. You think him or Josh Richardson, who's been excellent so far in this game, is another block by Claxton. And Claxton has played excellent defense here. No, a pull-up three, no good again. And Brooklyn cannot hit a three now to save their life.
But it's not like it's... Oh, and they're going to take another three. It's good. And it's now a 9-point lead for the Nets. 76ers looking at danger here as their offense has just come to a halt. Big game if you're the 76ers. What offensive play are you running to get their offense going?
Well, you'd like an aggressive drive similar to what Thibault just did, but he missed. Obviously, you probably wouldn't want Thibault taking that. Maybe you get Tobias Harris or Richardson driving in, and they're a turnover by Dinwiddie. Fast break, and Thibault will make that layup.
And like we said in the first half, the 76ers didn't have much success on the offensive end at half court, but when they made it more of a full court game in the fast break, that's where their offense started looking really good. And the Nets have been missing, but there's been no fast break out of the 76ers. The only bright spot here for the 76ers, you have Kyrie Irving out on the floor when you have no set. Wow, and Claxton, what is that, his third or fourth block in this game? He has really come out to play.
And Prince can't finish it there, but is fouled. And that's exactly right. Claxton, talk about a great defensive game. He has played about as good as you can play for a big man, especially guarding Joel Embiid most of this game.
And Prince will hit the second there. 8-point lead. We'll see Embiid and Simmons come in for the last possession, possibly, for the 76ers. Very important for them to score before the end of the quarter. Oh, and it's a turnover. That is the last thing you need. In Spencer Dinwiddie's hands. Here he comes. Mid-range. No good. Burks will not get up a shot, and the quarter will end 40-32. The 76ers offense has just been dreadful so far in this game. We'll see if they can make a comeback to extend the series in Game 4, or will the Nets end the series in Game 4? And we're back in the Barclays Center for our State Farm assist of the game. Caris LeVert throws that alley-oop that we talked about to DeAndre Jordan. They've had a great connection with their bigs, whether it's been LeVert, Harris, Kyrie Irving, or Spencer Dinwiddie. This team has really grown its chemistry through the playoffs after a lot of people doubted them going to the playoffs, especially with their chemistry with Kyrie Irving.
Oh, and then now you're looking, the Nets are a quarter away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Pretty crazy to think that.
And big game, I think if the 76ers are going to want to extend this to Game 5, we know who's going to have to take control of this game. Ben Simmons fast break and defensively, and then you have Joel Embiid dominating the offensive glass. He cannot give up any offensive rebounds this quarter. If he does, he's going to have to block the shot immediately. He's really got to show up in this quarter. Oh, Milton, he can't hit, but he's going to get fouled.
A good start there for Philly. And now missed free throws. I jinxed that.
But he hits the second. It's now down to 7. Big game we're probably going to see. Embiid and Simmons are going to play this whole quarter out. So it gives them a lot of room to make the comeback, as Kyrie Irving might not be seen till around the 2-minute marker.
Yeah, and if you're Brooklyn, this is a huge, on a turnover there, this is a huge opportunity for your bench, or I should say a huge run for your bench. Simmons can't finish the layup there for your bench to keep the lead here without Kyrie Irving on the floor.
And you know whose hands the ball's going to be in right there, Spencer Dinwiddie, but he's been struggling so far. Oh, Milton blows by, and he's had a very underrated performance here in Game 4. But if you look at that third quarter, that quarter is really what ruined the 76ers offense. 7 points, and their defense didn't do too well against the Nets, who had 16 points. Before that, it was mostly a back-and-forth matchup, so they're going to have to do something similar to what the Nets did in the third quarter right now in the fourth. Blocked again by
block
the
there by
76ers.
Embiid.
See what the Nets have to run here with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Looking for something inside. Not there. It's going to go to Harris. Oh, he gives it to Allen. Jumper. Can't hit. 76ers come out in the fast break. Oh, no one is there. But good defense by Jarrett Allen as he comes out of nowhere. And that's just the defensive mistakes you can't make if you're Joel Embiid. If you're going to guard DeAndre Jordan, you can't give him that position to go up for an alley-oop. There's no reason to face guard him like that. You have to allow him to post you up because you know you're the better defender.
Richardson, another tough one. Can't go.
Right now, the Nets' time is truly the only thing against them as we have about 3:15 left in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to score as much as the 76ers are right now as they have a 7-point lead. Dinwiddie, mid-range, but DeAndre Jordan once again is there. The 76ers, as a 6th seed in the East, might fall in this game 4 to the 7th seed Nets if they're not careful. Tobias Harris and one.
A big shot there for the 76ers and for Tobias Harris.
Oh, but he
and
misses
he can't
the
hit the free throw. And you're seeing free throws become a factor now for the 76ers. Can't be leaving points out on the floor like that. Embiid, another block.
I'll be honest with you. That block might not have even been needed. You can easily tap that out to himself. Almost a wasted possession there for opportunity for Embiid to lead a fast break. Harris doesn't take the wide open shot. And Spencer Dinwiddie will. Mid-range, it's good. Big game, you talked about 44% is what the 76ers are shooting at halftime. They've now fallen to 38%, yet the Nets are the exact same as what they were at halftime, yet have gained a lead. What does that speak to about the Nets so far?
And not just a lead. They've opened up an almost double-digit play, and a possibility to open up to double digits right here. A 9-point lead, and they hope it's an 11-point lead. DeAndre Jordan finishes. And how about this? I mean, for the 76ers, another poor shooting performance, especially here in the second half. In the first half, you played all right. You shot so much better than the Brooklyn Nets. You're only up 1. And obviously your 2 stars, Embiid and Simmons, have not shown up enough in this series to help them. And Kyrie Irving, obviously the leading scorer for Brooklyn with 13. Another solid game for him. A few big threes to start off the game. Really kept Brooklyn, or allowed them to get going in that first quarter by hooking up so many shots. But it's all but over now unless you can see the Philadelphia 76ers make a miraculous comeback.
And big game we just saw there on the screen, DeAndre Jordan's going to be taking home the player of the game. This one, have you been surprised by how many player of the games he's been taking, as well as Jared Allen for the Nets? You wouldn't expect that out of the 2 bigs.
Well, no, but obviously we saw it's another offensive rebound for Jordan. That time blocked by Embiid, another offensive rebound. But what we saw, they've Allen and Jordan, and I'll even throw Claxton in there, especially in this series. You saw them play pretty well in that first series, especially Jordan and Allen. They played spectacular against the Raptors. And we didn't know how they'd play here against a real superstar big man and Embiid because, they didn't play a legit, true all-star big man in that first series. But they've really shut down Joel Embiid, and they have really shown some flaws in Embiid's defense and in Philadelphia's defense overall. And they have out-rebounded them offensively and defensively most games. But especially on the offensive glass, they have taken care of business. Kept Brooklyn, gave him some extra possessions and a turnover there by Jared Allen. And that was really, to me, that's what the biggest factor was so far in the series was the offensive rebounds and second chance points for the Brooklyn Nets.
And it's just been a really poor performance offensively out of the 76ers in Game 4. You expect an elite team to at least put up 50 points or more in these 6-minute quarter games. 39 is just really inexcusable. And now Joel Embiid loses the ball to Wilson Chandler, and he's just After last year's game winner over in big game, what's the future of the 76ers at this point? Losing the Brooklyn Nets with a chance to go to the conference finals? It's just back-to-back semifinals losses in 2019 and now in 2020. It's going to be tough to move on from that.
That's for sure. And I think you'll see, obviously, Brett Brown has been under, criticism over the past how many years. We'll see if he keeps his job or if they look for a new head coach. We'll see if they decide to trade one of Embiid or Simmons or try and trade Tobias Harris. We'll see what they do there. But obviously, another semifinals loss here for the 76ers. And how about this? The 7-seeded Brooklyn Nets are going to the Eastern Conference Finals, the first team to advance. And good for them.
It's just been unbelievable. Like the bigs out of DeAndre Jordan, Jared Allen, and now even Claxton, with him stepping up in this series, we have to start taking the Brooklyn Nets seriously even without Kevin Durant. And that's going to be the final from Game 4, 48-39. The Brooklyn Nets will move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And we're going to go to our box score post-game show. Big game, he just continues to show up every game. And if it's not him, it's Jared Allen or it's Claxton. 10 points, 10 rebounds. Despite Kyrie Irving's poor shooting performance from 5 of 13, he still shoots 3 of 7 from the three-point line. And to be honest, that run he went on to start the second half pretty much won them the game when he hit those 2 threes, as the 76ers just could not find a way to come back in the second half. Was there any other standouts for you for the Nets in Game 4?
Well, to piggyback off what you said, obviously Kyrie Irving, the leading scorer again, and here in this closeout game, didn't need to put up a huge stat line, but still put up the points. And obviously he had the big men and DeAndre Jordan to help him out, Jared Allen. Joe Harris obviously shot 2 for 7, but was a lot more aggressive, which I think was a pretty good sign for Brooklyn, and it helped them win this game.
We go over to the 76ers side. We've spoken about this earlier in the series, especially in that Game 1-2 performance. You cannot have Richardson and Harris lead your team in points if you're the 76ers. It needs to be Embiid and Simmons, and this isn't a mistake. They scored 8 points total in this game. There's a reason they scored 39 points. They deserve to go home after this game. They truly only had one good game in this series, and even then, the Nets had a chance to win that Game 3. It's been a really disappointing performance, especially when they beat the Celtics in 5 in Boston, even when they blew the series. Just disappointing if you're a 76ers fan. Big game, anything else?
You said it. You hit it right on the dot there. Disappointing. You can't have your superstar Joel Embiid only take 4 shots, and it's really inexcusable to have in a possible winner go home game. You score a combined 4 points between, or 8 points between your two superstars. And Joel Embiid obviously had 13 rebounds, but how many offensive rebounds did he give up? That's you look at that. Obviously, he just didn't. He could have had so much more, and he just didn't. And like you said, you can't have Richardson and Tobias Harris lead your team in scoring when you have 2 All-Stars.
And big game, we're going to have a last comment here. As we look at the Eastern Conference Finals matchup, the Bucks could end it tonight in Miami. However, who do you think the Nets want to win that series, or how do you think they match up with either the Heat or Bucks in that one?
Well, I think if they end up matching up with Miami, if Miami comes back and wins the next 2 games in that series, you'll see a very good defensive matchup, in my opinion. Kind of similar to this series. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo against Kyrie Irving, and obviously you can throw in DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen in that conversation now with how they've been playing. So I think really in that series it would really come down to what big men played better, and really what All-Star played better between Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler. And if they end up playing the Bucks, obviously something they have going for them is how good defensively the big three of Claxton, Jordan, and Jared Allen have been to try and stop Giannis Antetokounmpo from driving into the lane. Uh, Obviously, it's pretty hard to stop him anyway. We've seen Miami struggle with that. Um, so I think no matter what, obviously it's a lower seed. It'll be tough to come away, but we've seen them be underdogs twice now in these playoffs and win both their series, and they're hot heading into the conference finals.
And that's going to do it here in the Barclays Center as the Nets celebrating an Eastern Conference Finals appearance as they win the series against the 76ers 3-1, 48-39 the final game 4. We'll be back soon for the next game as the Lakers look to close out the series leading 2-1 in OKC. See you soon.